Have you ever looked at something like a hand-woven basket and then looked at a really complex geometric floor tile and thought, okay, these two things are worlds apart? Well, what if I told you they actually share a secret language, a hidden code that's built on the exact same super simple rules? Just take a look at these two images. On one side, you've got this ancient craft, right? It's functional, it's beautiful, and on the other, a precise mathematical design. I mean, they couldn't look more different. But they are born from the exact same fundamental ideas. It's kind of wild. So what is this hidden code? Well, that's what we're going to get into today. We're going to unravel the simple set of instructions that connects the ancient art of weaving with the really precise world of mathematical tiling. And we're going to start with the weave itself. Okay, let's start at the very beginning. We're going to deconstruct the weave, and you'll see it all comes down to one basic repeatable action, a simple over-under rule. I don't know about you, but this takes me right back to making paper mats in art class. Remember that? It's such a simple process. You get your base paper ready, you cut some colored strips, and then you just start weaving. You go one under, one over, and then for the next strip, you do the exact opposite. And that alternating pattern, that is the absolute key to the whole thing. So step one, you create the foundation. You do this by cutting a bunch of parallel slits into that base sheet of paper. This part is actually called the warp. Those are the fixed threads that everything else is going to get woven through. And then comes the main event, the core action. You take your first strip, which is called the weft, by the way, and you weave it through following that one simple command, one under, one over. And you just repeat that all the way to the end. Now this is where the magic really starts to happen. With the next strip, you do the complete opposite, one over, one under. And just like that, with those two simple opposing moves, you start to see a stable, interlocking checkerboard pattern appear right before your eyes. Okay, so here's the crucial point. This isn't just some craft technique. It's an algorithm. It's basically a simple computer program. Row 1 has one command, under, over, repeat. Row 2 has the opposite command, over, under, repeat. You just keep running those two lines of code over and over, and you get a perfectly predictable, stable pattern every single time. Right, so if a simple code gives us a simple pattern, what do you think happens if we, change the code a little bit? Let's just make one tiny tweak. Instead of our 1 over, 1 under rule, let's change the instruction to 2 over, 1 under. And then, for the next row, we'll do 2 under, 1 over. It's a really small change to the code, right? But look at the difference. This just brilliantly shows the power of that one little change. Our simple 1 over, 1 under rule gives us that classic checkerboard you see there. But our new 2 over, 1 under rule, wow, it creates a much more complex, way more dynamic looking pattern. A tiny, tiny tweak to the code creates a completely different visual result. Okay, so we've got a handle on how simple rules create patterns with woven strips. But how on earth does this connect to tiling a floor? Well, this is the big leap we're going to make. We're jumping from the one-dimensional world of lines to the two-dimensional world of shapes. Believe it or not, the core idea is exactly the same. Think about it. With weaving, you're fitting strips together perfectly. With tiling, you're fitting shapes together perfectly. In both cases, the goal is the same. Cover a surface completely, with no gaps and no overlaps. And there's a really cool mathematical word for this whole concept, tessellation. A shape is said to tessellate if you can take a bunch of copies of it and cover a flat surface completely. It's like a perfect puzzle where every single piece is exactly the same. So, this brings up a really interesting question. Turns out, not all shapes are created equal when it comes to this. So, which ones can actually pass the tessellation test? Let's do a little shape challenge and find out. All right, first up to the plate, the regular pentagon. Now, regular is just a fancy way of saying all its sides and all its angles are exactly the same. So 5 equal sides, what do you think? Yes or no? Can it tile a floor without leaving any weird gaps? Let's see. When we try to fit them together around a corner, you see the problem almost immediately. See, for a shape to tessellate perfectly, the angles where the corners meet have to add up to a perfect 360 degrees, a full circle. But a pentagon's internal angle is 108 degrees. If you put 3 of them together, you only get to 324 degrees, which leaves a gap. And if you try to squeeze a 4th one in, it overlaps. They just don't fit. So for the regular pentagon, I'm afraid the verdict is in. It's a definite fail. It does not tessellate. But what about other regular shapes? Well, Turns out our good friends, the square with its perfect 90-degree angles, the equilateral triangle at 60 degrees, and the regular hexagon at 120 degrees, they all pass with flying colors. Their angles add up to 360 perfectly at every corner, which means you can use them to tile a flat surface forever and ever.
So think about where we've been. From a simple over-under rule in weaving all the way to which shapes can tile a flat surface, it's clear that this hidden code of patterns is absolutely everywhere. It's a set of rules that governs both the things we make and the world of mathematics.
You can see it in the timeless beauty of ancient crafts, right? Where people, just through intuition and tradition, figured out these powerful rules of repetition, and they used them to create things that are not only strong, but also incredibly beautiful. And at the same time, it's at the very heart of pure mathematical design. It's where logic and precision use the exact same principles to create these mesmerizing, super complex patterns, all built on a foundation of simple, elegant rules. Isn't it amazing to think that all of this complexity, it all comes from the simplest beginnings? I mean, whether it's just a single thread going over or under, or a simple shape where all the sides are equal, the most intricate, beautiful patterns are built on a foundation of absolute clarity and consistency.
So, what's the big takeaway? We've seen that a simple, repeatable rule can be the engine for incredible beauty and complexity. And that kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other hidden patterns, all guided by simple rules, are all around you right now, just waiting for you to notice them?